Okay, well, good morning, everybody. It is 6 o'clock in the morning. Um, Rocky's had his breakfast, and then he had a little nap. So he's already having kind of a full day. There he is. There he is, having a walk around. Hey, hello. Hey, you're a good boy. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to try and go back to sleep. Oh, boop, 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 boop. Oh, my goodness. Here he is. Hey, you're a good boy. Ooh, that leg worries me. I can smell that leg, Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do about your leg. I have no idea. But I worry about it, Rocky. I do. My goodness. Can't get anywhere with the vet. The vet doesn't want to know about it. So, I don't know. The vet wants $600 before you even acknowledge that there's an issue with the leg. So, I don't know. I get tired of dealing with people. I do. Yeah. My dream is just to go into the woods and build a little cabin or something and live there until I die, really, and deal with people as little as possible. That's the thing. Anyway, not that everybody's a piece of crap, but I mean, holy smokes. People do complicate things in the name of greed and other agendas. Anyway, the truck's going back in on Monday again because the transmission lines are leaking. I don't understand it. I mean, they're new lines. I was told that, well, again, I'm going to tell you what I was told based on my understanding of what I was told, which may be completely wrong. But what I was told, by my understanding of it at least, is that sometimes, even though they're new lines that were replaced or brand new lines, sometimes they will leak because they have to have some give to them and stuff like that because of road shock, which I know about. I understand that. That's the reason that the lines coming out the bottom of your reservoir and your master cylinder are coiled like a spring. The idea is with road shock, they'll actually move like a spring, and the line won't fatigue and break, you know. So I understand that there has to be some give to them. But the thing is, they shouldn't leak. They're supposed to be able to give to absorb road shock without leaking. And so to me, if it leaks, that would indicate either a bad line or a bad installation. Or I guess if you're really unlucky, it could indicate both. But it had to be a really bad day. But the thing is, the thing is, that's not normal. You know, it'd be like if you have, at least this is my understanding of it. You know, and I don't know shit about anything, so take that into account. But the thing is, it'd be like if you, to me at least, the way my mind works, and again, my mind may not be working right. I acknowledge that, but to me, it's sort of like if you have a hole in the wall. You got a hole in your wall, and you don't know shit about holes in walls. You don't know how to fix them. You don't understand it. You don't know what you're doing. If you try to fix it, it's going to be a disaster. And so you call a drywall man to come to fix the hole in your wall. And he comes, he looks it over, he says, "Oh yeah, I can fix this." And spends a few hours working on your wall. And then he announces the wall is repaired. And you say, "Oh, good. Good, we won't have a big ugly hole in the wall anymore. That's great. You know, because that's kind of the goal of the repair, is to not have a hole in the wall anymore. But then you look at the wall, and the hole's still there. And you say to your drywall man, you say, I thought that the hole was fixed. Well, yeah, I thought you had repaired the wall. Well, yeah, I have. But there's still a hole here. Yeah, there is. Well, but then I thought you said you had repaired the wall. Well, yeah, I did. But sometimes, even though the wall is repaired, the hole will remain. Well, I mean, my answer to that would have to be, then the wall isn't repaired. Because the goal of the repair was that there not be a hole there anymore. And so, if the goal of the repair has not been achieved, then the repair has not been achieved. That's my way of looking at it anyway. And to me, look, I had the lines replaced because they were leaking. They're still leaking. They've been replaced. They're different lines now, but they're still leaking. So, to me, the goal of the repair has not been achieved, because the goal was to stop the lines from leaking. You know, the goal was not to spend $900. The goal was not to have shiny new transmission cooler lines in my truck. The goal was, which I have now, the goal was not to have any more leaks. And actually, it's leaking worse now than it was with the old deteriorated lines that were leaking. I would have been better off just to leave the old lines in it, really, at this point. I'd be $900 up, and they wouldn't be leaking nearly as bad. And so, it would actually be better to leave the old lines in it, than to do what I ended up doing. Anyway, I'm going to go on Monday, and I'm going to just say, look, the repair hasn't been made because the lines are still leaking. That's all. The goal of the repair was that there don't be any more leaks. The lines are still leaking. The repair has not worked. There's a problem. The repair hasn't taken. Anyway, I understand that it's a miserable job. Replacing transmission lines is a miserable job. And I know the guy that did it struggled with it. It was a bitch of a job for him to do. I understand that. And I can understand them not wanting to do it again. Plus, the repair is under warranty, so if they do it again, they'll be doing it for free. Well, I mean, who the hell wants to do a miserable job for free? I get all that, I don't blame them for gaslighting me, if that's what they're doing. I have a sneaking suspicion that is what was done on Friday. I think I was gaslit on Friday. And I've had people gaslight me all my life, so I tend to know when it's happening. So, I mean, basically, I just want the lines not to leak. That's all. I don't care what they got to do to stop them from leaking. I just want them not to leak, because I paid $900 not to have leaky transmission lines. That was the goal. When I agreed to the repair and I paid the money, that was the goal, is not to have transmission lines that leak. Well, now I've got transmission lines that leak. And the other thing, too, is transmission fluid is really expensive. And gasoline is also really expensive. I figure I've already got an additional $50 just in the transmission fluid and gasoline, topping up the transmission and driving back and forth to Perth. So, because of it. So, I mean, it has to be resolved on Monday. That's all. It just has to be. Can't have any more shit going on with those lines. They have to be right. They have to be tight. They have to not leak. That's all. Now, like I say, maybe I'm being unfair accusing them of gaslighting me, but I have a feeling the guy gaslit me. I really do. And I don't like that. But there again, like I say, I may be wrong. You know, maybe that isn't what happened. But it just feels that way to me. But like I say, I'm not a big believer that your feelings dictate reality. I mean, I have women who feel like I raped them because I pushed a grocery cart down a grocery aisle. That's a true story. I've actually had women in the grocery store get up in my face and accuse me of raping them or sexually assaulting them because apparently I have a creepy vibe and I was in the grocery store at the same time as them and they felt violated by my presence. Just merely my being there at the same time as them was upsetting to them. But the thing is, again, their feelings are not reality. I didn't actually do a sexual assault on a woman just by grocery shopping at the same time as her. If that was a thing, then virtually every man who's ever grocery shopped would be in prison for sexually assaulting women. Because every man who's ever grocery shopped has been in the grocery store at the same time as a woman. Unless, of course, it's just the creepy guys like me. But even then, there's enough of us creepy guys around that there'd still be an awful lot of us rotting in jail as sex criminals if a woman's feeling about a thing dictated the reality of the thing. And so again, having said all that, I acknowledge that my feeling that I'm being gaslit may not be reality, but I do feel that way. And it's not a very nice feeling. And so the bottom line is, I don't see any way around this. Maybe I'm not being gaslit. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But I know that I'm not wrong when I say the repair hasn't worked. The lines are still leaking. They're not supposed to leak. And I said that to the guy on Friday. I said, well, no, he wasn't the guy who did the repairs. It was a different mechanic that looked at it on Friday. But I said to him, but, they're not supposed to leak. And he said, oh, I understand that. But, and then he had this explanation about how the lines moved and this and that. And it's kind of like, well, yeah, but, and how they have to have some movement in them because of road shock and so on, all of which I understand. Like I say, I know that's the reason that the lines coming out of your master cylinder are coiled, like a spring. So I understand the principle of road shock and how it can affect a rigid line in a car. That all makes sense to me. I'm not challenging the guy on that at all. But if you got fluid leaking from your master cylinder or from the lines in your going to your master cylinder, you would say you have an issue. And if you just put new brake lines in and they're leaking, you would say there's an issue. The repair didn't work. The repair is no good. It didn't work. Well, I say the same with the transmission lines. If they're leaking, then the repair didn't work. In which case, the repair needs to be repaired. The repair needs to be repaired. That's what needs to happen. And like I say, it'll be a miserable job, and they'll be doing it for free this time. But that's why it's under warranty. And the thing is, I want it fixed while it's still under warranty because I don't want to pay another $900 to have it done again. Not right away. I understand if I still have the truck 5 years from now or whatever, I may have to pay $900 to have it done again. In fact, 5 years from now, it'll probably be more like $1,500 or $1,800 or something that I'll have to pay to have it done again. But at the rate prices are rising. But I don't want to pay another $900 to have it done again like a week after it was done. A week after I paid $900 to have it done the first time, or 6 weeks after, or whatever. So anyway, I'll figure it out. Oh, they'll figure it out. I mean, it's their job to figure it out, and they will. And I'm just going to keep on them until it don't leak anymore, because it's not supposed to leak. I don't care what anybody tells me. If the leak is still there, then the goal of the repair has not been met, and it is not repaired. Doesn't matter that there's brand new lines in it, it still leaks, therefore it's not repaired. It's not supposed to leak, I'm not supposed to be losing transmission fluid like that, Plus, it's bad for the transmission, like, it's running low on fluid a lot of the time. I keep topping it up, but, it's running out of it. The transmission fluid is running out of it. When I brought it there on Friday, the truck actually left the trail. Everywhere the truck went in the yard at the garage, it left the trail of transmission fluid. I can't afford to be doing that. So anyway, it costs $20 for a little bottle of transmission fluid now. Just like what they call a liter here, which is like similar to the old quart bottles we used to have. That's a little smaller, I think, than a quart bottle, though. But that's, like I say, that's, a bottle of transmission fluid is, the last one I bought was like $23, just for a little bottle. And, I can't keep doing that either. So, anyway, we'll see. On a positive note, that we are now at 3,001 subscribers. So thank you all for that, 3,001. It was 3,000 last night, but I checked it this morning, and it's 3,001 as of this morning. Unless I say something that offends somebody, in which case it'll go back down. That does happen every so often. But like I say, unless that happens, it's 3,000. Unless that's already happened, it's 3,001 as of the making of this video. This video will be uploaded later on, because I'm not on the interwebs right now. I'm not connected to the internet, so, as I make this video. So it'll be uploaded later on today. Anyway, good morning to everybody. There's Rocky having his second post-breakfast nap. He'll be looking for his second breakfast probably in an hour or so. So he'll be up and looking for another breakfast. So anyway, we'll see you later. Bye for now. And good morning, and have a good day. All right, bye.